The Rams fall to 1-1 on the season after a 27-20 loss to the Washington Redskins with Sam Farmer. I'm Lindsay Theory for the Los Angeles Times. Sam, you're a traveling man. You've seen a handful of games so far this season. Now with the Rams, do you think they look more hopeful this season, like they can compete in the NFL?
I do. They're finally an interesting team. I mean, the seeds of interest are there. They seem very multiple on offense. We know this is going to be a good defense. But I was thinking, this time last year, we're standing in that tunnel. They just beaten Seattle 9-3, and to me, that almost felt like a hopeless victory. It felt like that was a dead-end street. That team, you could only go so far, very low ceiling. This feels like it's got a high ceiling. They didn't win the game, but we saw some. They broke Todd Gurley loose on that play where Goff wheeled out and threw to Gerald Everett. I mean, the Redskins were trying to lure him to throw left. Probably would have been picked with a less savvy quarterback. Goff showed that he was kind of cool under pressure and hit that pass. Kirk Cousins had a similar pass like that and overthrew the guy. So I think the seeds of promise are there without getting too hopeful for this Rams team. But another thing is you look around the NFC West and, Seattle's not scoring. They got a bad offensive line. San Francisco is San Francisco with Brian Hoyer at quarterback, and Arizona barely beat the Colts. So there's opportunity in this division.
Sam, to your point after the game, Todd Gurley was asked if he had more confidence about this year's team to last year's team, and Todd said, absolutely. If this were last year, we would have lost 27-3.
I could see that.
With Sean McVay, what do you think fans should expect? I mean, what do you think this team can accomplish this season?
Well, I'm really interested in the creativity of Sean McVay. We saw those short sort of dump-off passes to Gurley when they let a rusher through and they throw over almost a middle screen at times. And, they can't do that all year, but I think that talking to some of the Redskins players, they say, watch how creative he's going to be in springing this guy loose and maybe getting Sammy Watkins more involved. There were some dumb penalties in this game, some questionable penalties in this game. So I think it's just going to be a more interesting team without a flatlining offense like last year.
Yeah, Sam, let's go back a week. You were actually in Washington. You spoke to several of these players about their former offensive coordinator, Sean McVay. What did they tell you about him, and how hopeful do they seem for him as a head coach in his future?
Well, I'll tell you, a lot of the Redskin writers were kind of surprised that players were so colorful after a disappointing loss to Philadelphia and it really spoke to their love and respect for Sean McVay. They miss him there. They miss that creativity I talked about, and the fact that he was a coach who was really charismatic and sort of engaged with the players. So they liked him. They said he's got this almost supernatural hearing, that he's able to sort of eavesdrop on their conversations, but not, and it was sort of a disarming way they described that. But, I asked Josh Norman, I said, is this just up here? I just said, is this going to be an interesting Rams team with how multiple they were today? And he said, yeah, I really do think that Sean McVay is going to make them interesting. So that sort of speaks to what he's able to do.
And finally, Sam, Thursday Night Football, that's what the Rams have coming up in San Francisco. It's a nationally televised game. How important is it for the Rams and for Sean McVay to put a good product on the field on a Thursday night, which is already difficult to do, in order to kind of maybe turn the tides and the narrative on the Rams?
Well, yeah, I mean, the Rams are fighting two fronts here. They've got to deal with winning football games, first and foremost, but they've also got to engage the city, get people excited about the team. They're competing with another team in the city. Los Angeles is the only NFL city in the country where these teams have to try to get your attention. Every other team, even if it's Jacksonville or whatever, they're going to be the front and center on the sports page. Now, these guys are competing with SC and everything. I mean, so to go on national TV, I think it does help them that it's early in the season. As you were saying, Connor Barr once said that. I think it helps them to sort of wash the taste out of their mouth with this loss. And San Francisco is a team I think they match up well against, especially with a sort of a slow-footed quarterback with a defensive line that gets penetration.
He's an authority on the NFL, not just in Los Angeles, but across the country. If Sam Farmer says it, I think I'm at least going to believe it. Keep it on the Los Angeles Times for complete coverage of the Rams and the NFL. Sam, where are you going to be this next week?
I'm going to be at the Chargers. I think Chargers-Chiefs. I'm going to see what's going on at StubHub Center and they lost a tough one today, but I think they'll be a competitive team too.
All right, and Gary Klein and myself will see you Thursday night from San Francisco for the Rams 49ers.